again, and today, my friends, I'm coming at you live from always sunny Gainesville, Georgia, here in my Data Cathedral studios. I'm bringing you Dorkcast episode 39. Today, we're going to be talking about simplified section access. That's right, dealing with security in a simplified way. I thought I had done that 9 years ago when I wrote a post called Making Sense of Section Access in Qlik Sense. As Qlik was moving to the cloud, I wrote an updated version of this for you. I handed it all to you, and then all you had to do was read it all, become a section access guru, and then handwrite all of the section access for your thousands of applications you were doing. How hard could that be? Several of you wrote back to me and like, hey, well, we've got our security in a database. Are you able to do section access in Qlik from our database security? And I was like, sure. And I created a video for you showing you how you could populate tables instead of with an inline clause from a database. I thought that how hard could this be? You just got to do it all by yourself for your thousands of apps. Then my friends came along and added section access as a feature of their product. I know all of you can do multitasking, so feel free to go out to their website as we're showing here so you can check them out. And I've got several of my friends from ABI experts with me. I've got JP, John Paul Curtin, who is the CEO with EBI experts. Feel free again to screenshot so you've got JP's email address. And I've got JP Jean-Philippe Goulet, and again, feel free to screenshot his email there, and he's the Chief Technology Officer. And I've got JP, wait, Taz. I don't even understand how her name isn't JP. Taz, we might have to work on that. Just kidding. Taz Khan is the Sales Enablement Manager. Again, feel free to screenshot her information there. Stop sharing my screen so that we can talk. JP number one, will you stand up? How did you come up with the idea to do section access as a product?
Such a good question. We actually defined the way we could do it in 2015. So I just looked at the date you published that. So we knew what we would need, and we only got the APIs from Qlik like 5, 6, 7 years later. It's always been a plan, meaning that it's always been a plan. And when Qlik delivered the APIs, we jumped on developing the product. As you said, companies, the challenge for me was always that the section access that I want in my applications, I'm not a Qlik developer, I'm not a coder, but I want to manage the access that people have to my data. So meaning if I have as the CEO, I have access to finance data, all kinds of data, and then I want to be able to manage that as a business user, not as a coder. So I didn't want to go through a whole process of requesting my developer to add and then always add users to the application and then always worry about who can actually see what. I don't test it. If he doesn't test it, then we find out way too later that people have access to data they shouldn't have. So I wanted security as such a key point. I wanted a self-service, fully automated solution for section access management. Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea. JP number two. I don't know why, being a technical guy as a chief technology officer, we should just make everybody coders like me. Everybody should love coding like me. However,
No,
I could understand, we're not going to blame him for not being a coder. The
that
idea of having to update it
that
every
would
time a
be
new
really
employee
great.
comes on board or an employee off boards, that could really be a challenge for people, can't it?
Yeah. The technically is not as easy to understand how Qlik manage the section access, especially if you have different combination of restriction and omit and things like that. Is also we have also automation section access that is based on the security of the application itself. That means
Okay.
if you get the download the application, open it, you will not be able to see nothing because it's protected. Data are protected also offline application. And we like also the fact that I like to see the things visually. That means I want to see, I don't want to code in the Excel sheet and to reload the things. I want to see it automatically in a nice presentation view. And we also have the opportunity to add a smart reload function. That means if you change a section access on an application that makes 3 hours to load, we can just change the section access in seconds because we just applied the data difference of the section access, not the whole application. So
Nice.
this was a good challenge. And after we switched to cloud, that was also very nice to implement that.
Yeah, those are all good features. Even if you're a coding dork like me, those are good features.
Most people, we tried.
Dalton, you mentioned employee onboarding, offboarding. That's the case, right? We're seeing a lot of churn. If you look at the US, between internal and external onboarding, people leaving the organization and people changing positions within the organization and people coming into the organization, you're seeing about 50 to 60% churn annually. That means a lot of time is being spent on controlling section access. And when you have few developers, that becomes really a challenge. And my belief is that the data access should be managed by the business owner of the application, the data owner, not the developer.
That's a great plan. And as a developer, quit calling me and telling me. And I like what JP number 2 shared. It's not always Taz should see row 1 and not row 2. It's Taz should see row 1, but only columns 4, 5, 6. But in row 2, she should also see column 3. And by that, I'm talking about PII, PHI, and those kind of things. So Taz, even though they didn't give you a JP name, they let you keep your own name, which I think is very kind of them not to have a pattern and make you fit their mold. As you present this to customers, what are the big points that customers hear right away about why they need this?
So it's definitely a thing of most people will see the ease of access, so the ease of use. It's definitely easy to just click a button and say, okay, section access has been applied, especially for your governance risk for auto applications. There's a track record of everything of the section access in the application. And that's definitely something that a selling point when they see, okay, this is easy to use. I can apply my section access and I get full governance risk compliance with that as well.
Oh man, that governance and compliance stuff. Golly. I liked my life as a developer back in the days when people had green bar paper and all I had to do was hand them the whole thing. And now it's blah, wah, 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 wah. I got governance, I got security. So that's all tough. Now, if you're out there thinking, man, I'd like to make my section access easier, feel free to just go out to their site, press the buy button, and go buy it now. If you're still not convinced and you want to see a demo, Taz, can you go ahead and share your screen? Now, I'm sure 99% of people have already put their credit card information in, but for those who are out there that want to see how simple this is, go ahead and share for us here.
Okay, awesome. I don't know if I'm sharing at the moment.
You're sharing your screen. Yep.
Okay, so it's, as you can see, it's a simple login. And once you've logged in, you have you have all your applications. So this is, you can see the active control section. We have all your applications.
And where would that list of the applications come from?
From Qlik. So you get all your applications from Qlik, and you can also manage which applications you want to be able to control within SAM. So in the admin section, the admin would go and set up, this is where you set up the server, and then you can decide which streams to exclude. So you don't have to manage everything with SAM. And you can also choose to exclude developer work user streams, the work streams. So if you have 100 developers and you don't want all their 20 apps that's in their work stream, you can just exclude their work streams from here as well.
Nice. Okay.
And then you also and then you get all your users that come in from Qlik as well that you can see over here, and you can set up the user details and information from here. You can set your global configurations, and then you can tell SAM how to manage your applications. So you can tell SAM, okay, I want to manage this manually. I want to manage all my apps manually. Or I want all my apps to go to auto, which means that it takes the QMC stream user access rights and it applies the section access automatically based off the stream user rights. And then you have manual, where you want to manually apply section access, or you can apply both. So any streams with access, it will automatically go and apply auto section access to that. And then any manual apps, it will then allow you to set your manual section access.
So obviously you've had customers giving you feedback that you've been working with to try to come up with all these variations that fit their working process and environment. I like that.
Definitely.
Okay. So you've used an API. Once you've got it configured, you've used an API, you're pulling the list of apps, and now you can see these things.
Okay.
I would just
So
Baz, if you give me a second. So I would just add that one of the customer experiences, which is the largest bank asset-wise in Africa, was the external table. So it can be QMC or an external table, as you mentioned in the beginning, taking the access from other database tables. So they run purely off an external system where they put the names of the apps and the users, and we then automate everything with the Qlik from there.
Very cool. Great ad.
Awesome. As I was saying, the auto application is quite simple. It takes your stream access and then it goes and applies the section access into the application. And then this is once you go into the app on SAM, you can review all your section access, you can review the rights that have been applied, you can export it to Excel, JSON, or open it as a URL, and then you can see if there's any errors. You can also open the Qlik app directly from here. Let me quickly show you what this, I'm just going to open the application and then show you what the section access looks like in the Qlik application.
Okay.
So what SAM does is it goes and it inserts a script into your application. So this is what the SAM script will look like in the application. So for an auto app, you wouldn't need to do anything. It automatically takes your stream user access rights, and this is what you get from there. So everything is auto.
That's nice.
And then, yeah. And then you have a manual application. So the manual application, you have, once you go into the application, you can see all your details from here. You can also see whether you're getting your section access from the QMC or from an external table. You can go and select your reduction field. So you go and reload your metadata and it goes and fetches the reduction fields. That's as per Qlik methodology. You get anything that's in all caps will come through. You can select reduction fields and then go next. And this is where you'll then assign your section access. So you can see all your users over here, and you can assign admin, you can assign user access, and then you can also deny. So deny is a SAM specific function that automatically denies that user access to that application.
Okay. So like anybody that starts with JP, we just deny their access because they're probably troublemakers. Yeah.
I would just add, Dalton, before I jump out, if you already have applications in QMC that have manual section coded section access, the product will reverse engineer it and create this automatically for you.
Okay, so you would read the stuff that I've already coded, bring it in so that then I would be able to see it visually and start manipulating it. What if tomorrow I decide, you know what? I don't want to use this easy stuff anymore. A business user might be taking my job as a developer. What would happen then once I've started using your stuff?
So if you want to put everything back to what it was before you started using SAM, you'll just come over here and click the revert script option, and it puts everything back to what it was originally. Simple as that.
When you say put it back, what does that mean? Do you keep it like somebody handwrite it and then they go retype my code?
We store the metadata. So what it does is it takes the metadata that we had before you applied section access using SAM, and it puts it back to what it was originally. So
Okay.
even if you look at the application, I'll show you in a manual application, it comments out the section access that you have
Okay.
originally, and then it just puts it back for you.
Gotcha. So I've never really lost it.
Yeah. Never
Okay.
really lost. Always
Not
there.
that I would replace it, because some business users welcome to handle section access. I'm fine with that. Let me focus on data. That's what I love.
Definitely.
Okay. So show me an example. I get the panel. Show me an example of how I can start setting some code to omit rows or omit columns and things like that.
Okay.
Predictions.
So, yeah, I have some applications here. I have a manual application, and then I also have this test application that is one of the cases that you gave, that we worked on, that PDF that you gave. And
Okay.
we set up the application and everything. And we obviously now it's managed with SAM.
Nice. Okay.
So what we'll do is, as you can see, if we go into the application has been scanned and it's been set to manual. And then we've selected our reduction field. So in this case, we've set the reduction fields as super ID, supervisor ID, and the user rights. You can also select your PII supervisor ID and then go next. So once you've done that, all your users will come through, and you can then search for a user. So I'll search for Taz in this case, and then I can set my reduction fields. So under the supervisor ID, I can set which supervisor ID I'm going to allow this user to see. And then also it's the same with the user rights.
Wow.
So as you can see,
it is very visual.
Yeah. Okay. And then the omit dimensions in this case would just omit that column from the application so that you won't be able to see that column. As you can see now, I've set the reduction fields. I can go review my rights over here. Also, another cool feature that we have is if you want to, you can copy the section access and then you can apply it to any other users. So if you have 1,000 users, you can go and add the section access to a group or to multiple users, or you can actually replace the current section access with the copied section access. So it's easy to just apply the section access to multiple users at once.
That's a nice feature. Feature.
And then you come back here, you review all your rights. Like I said, you can export this. And then once you say next, you can open the Qlik app from here, which I will do. And then once you click finish, it goes and it puts that section access that we've selected now into the application. Okay. So in order to see what section access this user has, we'll go into the sheet. And as you can see here, we'll be able to then only see the section access that we have then applied. Okay, so this one, no, I'm not logged into the right user. Let me open it in a different, there we go. Okay, over here.
And that's always the hardest part of section access is you got to create the access, but then you got to log in as the person you're trying to test.
As the person, exactly. So definitely, so once you've set your section access, let me actually, while I'm here, show you the section access and how it's commented out on in the application. If we open the data load editor over here. And you can see here the section access has been commented out. And then you have your SAM script that's just been inserted into the application. So it's always there, but it's just commented out. Okay. And then if we go back over here, which user? Okay, there, as you can see, we can only see under the user rights, we can only see all because that's what we selected on the section access over here. Assign section access. There we go. Yeah, under the user rights, we've only selected all. So
Okay.
that's the only thing that they can see. And then for this user can now also only see all, and that's it. So as you can see, the supervisor name for 3 and 4 have been logged out.
So you actually did the combination security of the rows and the column.
Yes.
So you're able to see all 5 rows. You're just not allowed to see the PII or PHI for 3 and 4.
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly. So that's basically, like JP mentioned earlier, it's with the click of a button, you can assign the section access to for any user. And then you can also, I also have a manual application over here that is, if we take, let me search for Taz. So this, because I'm an owner over here, I'll be able to see all the rights. And then if I maybe use demo user, I can then select the section access. So you'll see here, he's got admin, and then under the region, he's only able to see Central and East. And if we log into that user and we go to the data, which I've already got open here, I can only see East and Central. And it's as simple as that.
So
can you change it directly in the section access to see how fast it changes?
Yeah, it changes very quickly. So if I take out East, for example, and I maybe change a manager to Herman add Herman as well, and I say next, finished, and then we just give it a few minutes, and the application will go and it's instant, so you'll be able to see. Now you can only see Central, and you can see Douglas and Herman. So it's with the click of a button, you can change the section access.
that's pretty incredible. Are you doing the section access as like a partial reload or something? Or how are you able to get the app reloaded with section access so fast? JP.
Part reload. It's different. We replace the script by only the section access script.
Okay.
And then we make a partial reload of that. So
okay.
That's only override the section access.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do when you're doing section access is make a couple of changes and you got to wait an hour and a half to get all your data reloaded or something like that. Very cool.
Yeah.
So if folks go out to ebiexperts.com and they look for Sam and they reach out to you, can they get a trial of this stuff? How do you guys work that for them?
If they go to ebiexperts.com, you can literally book a demo with me straight away. And then there's a link to my calendar over there. You book a demo with me. We see what you require. We set up a POC for you so you can test it out. You can test it out using your Qlik, or you can test it out on our servers. And then we set you up from there.
Nice. That's
Whatever,
the way to go.
if you want to start tomorrow, you start tomorrow. We can hook you up straight away.
I'd like to start about 10 years ago. When I had to do this every day of my life prior to joining Qlik, that was a big part of it. Because that is the crazy thing today. Like I was half teasing about green bar paper, but sharing data, there was a time when it wasn't possible. One group had a giant printer that printed giant reports, and you sat with a giant ruler to try to find numbers, and you had to manually add things up. Like you couldn't even get sums.
And now you can apply section access with the click of a button.
I know. This is crazy, yeah, because I tease people when I speak at Gartner events or Snowflake summits or Databricks summits or Connect. I always tease people, just make it available to everybody. We should just be able to trust each other. And they're like, no, we can't. Because there's governance and there's compliance rules. In healthcare, there's HIPAA rules. So this is fantastic stuff. Do you guys have anything on the roadmap for this? Are you still interacting and getting new requirements from customers or things like that?
So SAM is currently released. It's a good working product,
Okay.
but we are trying to get SAM working for cloud. That's what we're doing at the moment for Qlik
Okay.
Cloud. So that's on the roadmap at the moment, and Jean maybe can give some insight on that.
I don't know if we can say that. We have some ideas on the
Okay.
behind, but more or less it's how we can simplify the row level security or the data security.
Yep.
Always speak about the report security, but okay, what about the row level, and what about the data security? So it's how we can enhance that and centralize that for also different tool that we have, not necessarily only Qlik.
Nice. Okay. Nice. So you're thinking bigger than section access then. You're thinking of like data security for data sets and
Yeah, and our flag product now is it's active backup for WIP, for cloud and for Qlik Cloud and for Qlik on-prem. That will take a quick snapshot of the data, like backup, so
yep.
continuous backup, and very easy to recover one sheet, one whole application, or even one whole server in one shot. So it's what is missing sometimes in the cloud, especially.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have to have another conversation about that then. Yeah, because not knowing that your stuff is backed up from the cloud, yeah, that's going to be important to people. Well, guys, I thank y'all so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me about this. If you're at home, even if you're a dork, the ability to be able to visualize and see who has what access. We don't all have knowledge graphs in our brains to see 18 dimensions of fields and columns. That ability to say, hey, I need you to make JP security just like Taz's security and be able to copy. That's fantastic. Like I could just go in and copy it as opposed to trying to write down everything that you had access to. And that ability to make the access quickly, create groups as you're adding people to the organization and you're off taking people off the organization due to turnover and things. That's huge, right? And we really do want to let the developers focus on the development and let the business users handle their own security so that as they change day by day, we don't have to worry about it.
On that note, Dalton, we've actually got a user offboarding section, so you can instantly offboard a user from selected applications or all applications instantly. So it's instant. You select your user, you select the applications that you want to, let me click show applications. You can select the applications you want to offboard them from and instantly just offboard them from those applications. Simple as that.
That's huge. That really is huge. Again, it's obvious you're in direct contact with your customers who continue to ask for one more. Oh, did I forget to tell you that this was a thing I do daily as well? It is a task.
And we have also reporting that, so which user can see which report and which data and which restriction. So that is also in the governance dashboard we have.
Nice. Again, thank you all, and thank everybody out there for your time as always. Hope that you have a great.
Thank you for your time, Dalton.